This was his pregame message.
The pain of Kings fans. There's nobody that sat in this seat with the exception of two people, Rick Adelman and probably Jerry Reynolds, that understand the pain of Kings fans. So know that I, as I sit here, who experienced that pain with those men, we're going to get it right. We're going to work every damn day to get it right. So when I see the hate, the haters, the fakers, all you guys, you keep that energy. That's good. You keep that, and you know who you are.
Okay then, Coach. Well, Nikola Jokic added to that pain last night, putting up a season-high 35 points on 80% shooting. Chene, should Doug Christie have picked a different game to call out the haters?
Honestly, he could have done that, and Jokic could have played like this against anybody in the NBA. You remember when James Harden said, "I'm the system"? This is the guy that truly is one of the greatest offensive generators in NBA history. Y'all, they've won, I think they're top like 5 straight in the West. They are impressive, and Jokic, I mean, bonkers, 80% from the field.
All right, let's move on to Celtics and Sixers. Met for the 3rd time this season already. Philly won a tight one with Tyrese Maxey and Justin Edwards leading the way. Shams also reported Paul George is close to a return. Perk, what's your temperature on Philly right now?
Oh, well, my temperature was last year when I was called everything but a child of God, when I said the franchise of that, the face of that franchise is Tyrese Maxey, topping the league in scoring. The energy, his energy is contagious, making guys around him better. We're watching the kid Edwards make shots. We're watching Oubre play at a high level. VJ Edgecombe is balling, and it's because of the leadership of that young man.
All right, let's move on to the Mavs. It's just over 24 hours since the Mavericks fired GM Nico Harrison. Mavs Governor Patrick Dumont released a statement saying, quote, "This decision reflects our continued commitment to building a championship-caliber organization, one that delivers for our players, our partners, and most importantly, our fans." The Nico Harrison era was filled with plenty of activity, from bringing in Jason Kidd to be the head coach and acquiring Kyrie at the trade deadline in 2023. But the misses were loud, like letting Jalen Brunson walk in 2022 and, of course, trading Luka to the Lakers last winter. The Mavericks will play their first game of the post-Nico era tonight against the Suns. Tim McMahon is in Dallas for that one. Tim, you have news on Anthony Davis. What can you tell us?
Howdy, George. Anthony Davis will miss his 7th straight game tonight with that left calf strain. That is because Mavericks Governor Patrick Dumont has requested medical data indicating there is no risk of aggravating that calf strain, or worse, like we unfortunately saw with Tyrese Halliburton in the finals, before he gives the green light for AD to return. AD wants to play. He's been working out. His personal medical staff, which is on the Mavericks payroll this season, has cleared him. Mavericks Director of Health and Performance, Johan Bilsbro, has pushed back against that. Dumont first became involved in this decision-making over the weekend. He is siding with Bilsbro, erring on the side of caution. So no AD tonight, and he wants to see some data before he gives that green light.
Our man Tim McMahon in Dallas. Adios, amigo. All right, Brian, what should the next move be for the Mavs?
Well, they've got to decide who is going to make the decisions for this team in the front office. Are they going to stick with the interim front office that they put in place, or are they going to look to hire somebody from outside? Are you going to bring that person in like now? And if you do that, are you going to give the green light to make changes to this roster? And if you are making changes to this roster, are you trying to upgrade this roster to deal with a team that's underachieving at 3-8? Or are you looking to take this roster down? And that is a lot that I just said there. There's a lot of prickly things to decide. The real issue that you've got with this team is, how good are they with Kyrie and AD healthy? If you don't think you're good enough to get to the Western Conference Finals now, should you consider looking what the trade market is for those two guys and reformatting all around Cooper Flagg? Because here's the thing. When Nico Harrison made the trade with Luka Doncic, he said we got a 3-year window to try to win. That is gone. There is nobody that has to stick to that anymore. And Cooper Flagg is now there. And so the whole league is watching very, very closely to see, are the Mavericks going to be a team looking at how deep this draft class is and knowing that in 2026, it's the only time between now and 2031 that the Mavericks control their draft pick, whether that doesn't line up as a recipe to start making moves.
Oh, rebuild is not an option. Rebuild is not an option. You still, look, I still need to see AD and Kyrie on the floor together. right? I think those two guys are gonna make magic. I believe when you look at that front line, when this team is healthy, they can compete with the best of them. We just have to see them on the floor, and they still have Jay Kidd as their head coach that they just extended.
When this team is healthy, that is probably, we used to say it in Philly, but that right now in Dallas is the biggest if in the NBA. If AD can, do you believe that he can make it through the postseason? I know he only played the first 5 games, 20 and 10 there, but that is the biggest if in the NBA. I do believe that getting rid of Nico Harrison was one step closer to pressing the scariest button, the reset button. Because if you think about it, the Dallas Mavericks, they right now have the lowest points per game in the NBA. They have the second worst record in the West. AD, again, has only played the first 5 games, and he's out again. Kyrie is out. Are you going to bet on a Kyrie that's returning, which I believe in more than possibly an AD consistently getting there? That's a big if, my big bro.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's going to be 2018 draft classmates Luka Jokic and SGA square off for the 14th time. Shea holds the head-to-head edge with 7 wins, but Luka has posted bigger scoring numbers in the 13 prior meetings. All right, we got a little role reversal here. We have Malika Andrews on the sidelines tonight for OKC and the Lakers. So, Malika, the Lakers 4-1 against teams above 500. How are they looking at this particular matchup against the defending champs?
I love the role reversal, George. The Lakers are looking at this like a litmus test, right? They're coming into Oklahoma City. They know they're the champions, and they're saying, okay, this is an early season test for us to see exactly who we have. I was talking to Austin Reeves earlier at Shoot-Around, and he said that this is a nice time to be able to check in against the standard bearers of the league in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, remember last April, the Lakers, they played the Oklahoma City Thunder right here in this building twice in just a handful of days, and the Lakers beat them the first time, and they hung really tough with them the second time. The coaching staff, you bet they're reminding the Lakers of that outing here, because this can feel like an incredibly tough building to play in. We just saw the Oklahoma City Thunder steamroll the Warriors last night. This is a very tough team and a tough test, but Austin told me that he feels like this team is much better than they were last year. They have more chemistry under their belt, and they're feeling as good as you can going up against the champs tonight.
Yeah, and the champs, as you mentioned, coming off a back-to-back. But the champs are also better this year, I think. They have the top defense in the league. Luka, though, averaging 37, 9, and 9. How are the Thunder looking at trying to contain Luka?
That's a little bit of a scary thought, right? That the Oklahoma City Thunder are even better than they were last year. Look, containing Luka cannot be done by one person, particularly tonight without Lou Dort in the lineup here for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So expect to see a lot of Cason Wallace on him, right? They're going to have Chet Holmgren. They're going to have their other guys. That's a departure from how they handled a back-to-back last week against the Portland Trailblazers when they sat more of their roster. But Lou Dort being out, remember Luka Doncic has described Lou Dort as one of the most difficult defenders he has ever had to face. He's not going to have that test tonight, so it's going to be done by committee here. But I will say this, George. JJ Redick told me this morning that the Oklahoma City Thunder, a lot of teams say this, they actually mean it. When OKC has a next man up mentality, there's not much drop off with the next guy who comes in to defend Luka Doncic. It's going to be a tough task today.
Yeah, no question about it. Malika, one favor. Keep Richard in check today somehow, okay?
That is a big, big favor, but I will do my best. I will do what I can.
All right, Malika, take care. Thank you so much. All right, Malika tonight on the Lakers and OKC out there in Oklahoma City. All right, from OKC to the big board. What do we got here, Chene and Perk? What are you guys looking at with this particular matchup?
Look, you guys, I know it's early. I know it's a small sample size, but this matchup right here has the 2 leading candidates for MVP. So I played for LA. Perk, can we show the jacket for a moment? Perk obviously played for OKC.
And I just played. Hey, ambassador. I'm
you're the ambassador?
In OKC.
Oh, my goodness. So we're going to take the respective stars. I'm going to start with Luka Doncic, how great he has been on the floor. Let's roll the tape and show what we've got. All right, Luka, he's so patient. He plays to his own tempo. DA has done a better job screening. That puts his defenders in a blender. But he also is very shifty. He'll slow down, create some contact, not just for the mid-range, but he'll get to 3. He's top 10 in made threes at over 4 a game. And then he does like to use these screens to sort of snake. And he's not afraid of anybody in front of him. This right here is Rudy Gobert, a Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. That's when he unleashes his fadeaway, the step back. He's a big guard. He is 6'7", and he's got these skills. But this is my favorite part of the game because it involves post play. This is where he's lethal. The defenders come. It doesn't matter. He splits the defense. He tends to hit those fadeaways. But when he's attacking the basket, he scores from all levels.
Oh.
Last but not least, you heard the numbers. 37.1 points per game. The highest scoring average currently in the NBA. When was the last time we saw that? MJ. But this is wild, y'all. He did it for the entire season, but Luka is on a torrid, historic pace.
He is on the pace. That's why I picked Luka Jokic to win the scoring title. But on the flip side, my boy SGA, that's why I got my jacket said, keep a cool booty. The best mid-range game, best scorer, best player in the game. And here it is. He is leading the league in two-point made shots. Right here, you see him getting the separation. By the way, he averaged 4.5 feet separation on his pull-ups. Here it is again, coming off. Look at the separation again, giving the big fella the nudge to knock down the shot. When you talk about the mid-range king, this is SGA. Here he goes again, sizing them up, getting in the bag. The separation again, 4.5 feet.
Ooh.
Get back, young fella. Let me knock this down. They call him Shea Butter for a reason. Most consecutive 20-point games in NBA history. Look who he's up there with. Wilt, and SGA. He's on the streak right now, active streak 84.
Hold on. Let's do this together, Perk. Will the real MVP please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.